don't ever feel obligated to have to do something, you know? And if you are hesitating on whether you should do something or not, you already have the answer about what it is that you should do, just based off of that hesitation. Like if you see someone and you're like, should I speak to them? Shit, let me know. If you have to think about it, if you have to think about, should I do this or not? You know, if you're in a hesitant, indecisive space, the best thing you could do is learn how to be in a decisive space. But when it involves other people, places, and things outside of yourself, and you choose to do something based off of what another person outside of you may expect, that's when you can manifest situations and things in your life that you might not want to experience because you did something that you don't necessarily want to do, but you just kind of felt you had to do it. So then your experiences start to reflect that, you know? So the reason why I say that specifically too is because it's like, it's okay to see familiar places. I mean, familiar faces. Like, it's okay to see people that you have seen like a time before. It doesn't mean that you are obligated to some type of commitment to them just because you've seen them before, or you might have spoke to them before, or, you know, because I feel like I've done that a lot. Like I've, you know, spoken to people or waved to people that I felt like this person probably want me to wave, or this person looking at me like they want me to say hey or something, and I just might do it just to, you know, and those are kind of like semi-square situations. So we know that like squares is learning, is like 90-degree angle, you know? So when it's a semi-square, it's not something that you really have to deal with so much. It's not really like a big issue type of thing. It's not really like a big learning situation, but there's always things that you can learn from, you know? So that leads me to talk about something that I have learned about feeling obligated to speak to people and stuff like that in familiar environments. So in my neighborhood, a lot of people in the neighborhood look like me, like they're same complexion as me. And you know, sometimes people, they can, not just in my area, but you know, you hear things online, you know, different communities and people and history and things that you've like kind of learned in like school or been taught outside of school, or, you know, what your parents or somebody like that believe in. It's like, you know, sometimes people feel a sense of togetherness or some type of community or familiarity if you look similar to them, or you might not even look similar to them, but they might categorize you in a similar category as other individuals. And so, you know, there can sometimes kind of be this forced thing of like, you know, people calling each other brother and sister even though that's not their brother and sister, or people might even wear certain colors and certain designs because they feel like, you know, there's this sense of like people like to feel like they're a part of something. So anyway, there's this guy in my neighborhood, and he he felt the urge to like talk to me one day. And this is why it's also important to remember the starting point of whatever relationship you're having with somebody. In first conversations, that first instance, that first moment. So the guy, I'm walking how I normally walk, right? So right now I'm on the sidewalk because I'm about to walk over those lines right there. But I like to walk in the street or whatever. So it don't matter what country or state or place or city I'm in, I like to walk in the street. And so my first interaction with this individual was him telling me not to walk in the street. And at the time, I didn't understand what he was saying because I didn't know as much Spanish as I know now or whatever, and I wasn't really paying attention or trying to listen to anything that he was saying or anything that he had going on, And I'm like, or whatever. Like, even though I didn't give a fuck about what he was saying, I'm still like trying to lean in and kind of listen to, what he's saying or whatever. And I'm just like, no habla inglés. Like, I don't speak Spanish or no habla español. Like, I don't speak Spanish or whatever. So he's like, basically get out the street or whatever. So I laughed. I believe I just laughed and that was it. But I continued to, walk in the street because who the fuck are you? You get what I'm saying? So it was like another time and like a third. It was like it got up to like the fifth time or whatever. Like this person is seeing me and telling me not to walk in the street. And then in between those times, he's like wanting to speak to me and like have conversations and stuff like that. So, I'm like, hey, and like, having little conversations because I feel like the first couple of conversations, it's kind of cool to, talk to somebody a little bit, like just to have a conversation with somebody, because I'm very new to this country. I'm very new to my neighborhood. So, just like those 2-3 minute kind of, conversations was okay, I felt like. But it was kind of like I would leave kind of confused a little bit. Like, what the fuck was the point of that? Or like, that was weird or something like that. I would still feel like that, but I would see him again. And then I would just like have a conversation again. And then, and then he started to get more and more comfortable and where it's like, it don't matter how far away from him I am, he feel like the need to speak. Every single time he see me, he feel the need to speak. It don't matter if he in the middle of a conversation and got all this other shit going on, he feel the need to speak. And that's probably just how he is as an individual. That could be how a lot of people are when they see somebody they know or something. But he was acting like we were friends or something. And then, just started to get like uncomfortable after like one day I was just like, I don't even feel comfortable walking down like this street because I know that this man that's always outside is like, like always feeling the need to talk to me and or whatever. So I basically had to set a boundary by just like not allowing anybody to make me feel like I couldn't be in a certain space. And then once I did that, I was just like, no matter what, I'm not speaking to that man. I don't give a fuck. Like, that's, I was just telling myself that or whatever, because I don't need to have somebody else's thought, feelings, and their experiences and what they got going on my mind. Like, it's just like, it's a lot, and And it's not to say like I don't want to have conversations and stuff with people, or I don't want to know people familiar in the environment. It's just like his vibe was always weird. That's what it was, confusing and it was weird. And then I started to see like, oh, okay, he does drugs. Like, he's always outside. Like, he always looks lost and confused. He always looks like he needs a friend. Like, and if I'm attracting somebody like this, you feel me? It's because it's about what I allowed. You feel me? It's not always about what you do to people. It's what you allow. So, that particular day, I was just like, I'm gonna set this boundary, And when I set that boundary, I didn't allow myself to be taken into some type of guilt program of all the indoctrinated ways that I could be taken into some type of guilt program. I was just like, I'm just gonna focus on my music, focus on what I got going on, and because it wasn't like he knew my name. It wasn't like he was calling my name. He was just saying something to get my attention. Like, he was calling something out to get my attention, like, And so on one day I didn't respond. I didn't turn around. I didn't engage. And he was really trying too. Like, he was really, really fucking trying. Like, he didn't care if I was on the phone. He didn't care about what I was doing or what I had going on. He just needed that fucking attention. He needed that moment and that second of me talking to him or something. So he kept trying and kept trying. I continued to walk down the street. I didn't change my pace. I stayed focused on what I was doing. And when I didn't turn around, I felt this energy of like, how this is an old ass man, so I don't give a fuck about none of that, and I was not interested. But how like people might try to like talk to you outside, like holler at you or whatever, and you turn them down, and they like, well, fuck you then, bitch. Like, his energy at the end of me not giving him attention or whatever was like that, where how somebody like throw their hand up like that or whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna, take heed or whatever. Like, where it's like, okay, like, when you don't respond or you don't say anything or you don't give people a certain amount of attention, that's when, you can really see what a person's intentions, and you can really see like what the fuck a person wants, So the next time I seen him, he didn't speak, and I'm like, cool, like, like maybe he got the hint type shit, where it's just like, leave me the fuck alone. And then, I started to see him, and he just wouldn't talk no more. Instead of him feeling the need to talk to me every time, he could pick up on that energy of like, she don't want to talk to you, so stop fucking trying. So he did. You feel me? He did it. So I was just kind of like, okay, so now that I know that, you feel me, I'm like, cool. It felt like a weight was like lifted off my shoulders, because of something I allowed. Like, and that's how monsters can be created, because of the shit that you allow, So yeah, like, so we just wasn't conversing or anything like that anymore, and it was cool for me. And I still see him. He's still outside all the fucking time, and like it just started to, like these like the phases of like grief. Like, he kind of went through those phases where it was just like he would look at me all sad and shit sometimes, and he would look at me like, should I speak, like, sometimes, and then it would be straight up fucking anger sometimes, and where where you can just see the tone of somebody's voice and all this different stuff, and it would just go through those kind of vibes or whatever. So I'm just like, okay, like, it's just confirmation, like, You feel me? But this happened like over a year time span too. Like, it's crazy. Like, you know, and I just learned a valuable lesson from all that. And it's what I started with. And that is, don't ever feel obligated to have to do something for someone else, or don't feel obligated to have to do something because you think that that's what this person expects, and you don't want them to feel bad. Like, don't consider someone else's feelings over your own feelings. Like, nobody else's feelings and thoughts and expressions and everything is more important than yours. Like, you feel me? You control your life, and you control what it is that you have going on. You know, you are the star of your own show. You are the star. You are the main character. And nobody else has to do anything for you, and you don't have to do anything for anybody else either. So, like, if you just get to this point where you feel some sense of obligation, you feel a sense of just like overwhelming like weight or something like that, and it has to do with the external world, just remember that, you know, you are the one that's in control. You feel me? Like, the movie wouldn't be playing without you, it wouldn't be shown without you, it wouldn't be making sales and be popping and all that shit without you. So just make sure you focus on yourself, you focus on what you have going on.